The last couple of months have been hard. Not bad by any means, but hard. October and November is busy season for me, and it means that every day is full of deadlines, juggling multiple projects, and tons of admin work. On top of that, there's a bunch of travel for events that, while fun and super inspiring, really drains my social battery, being around hundreds of people day in and day out. I love interacting with other creators, people who watch my content, and all the folks at these events, but I get burnt out really quickly if I don't have the other side of things to balance it out. And one of the big things that gets left behind while all of this is happening are my little solo nature photography adventures. Between both October and November, I had 3 folders of photos, which means that outside of the events that I was at, I only took the camera out to shoot photos on 3 different days. And that just feels so sad for a person who loves photography. So, once things calmed down a bit, I knew it was time to get in the car, take yet another drive somewhere on Vancouver Island, and head out on the trail with my camera to recharge. And even though we're heading into winter, it's getting colder and I'm having to gear up a little bit more, those Vancouver Island views never disappoint. Today we're back out for another hike, doing some photography while we're out here. We're at a place called Stony Hill Regional Park. The hike that I'm on right now is a new one to me. I've never done it before. I was out in the area last night and I looked up on All Trails, and turns out there's a nice, beautiful hike that goes on here, and there are 3 different viewpoints. So I thought, I might as well come out. I've got this new lens from Sigma, the 28-105 that I'm trying out right now. And this first viewpoint that I just pulled up to is absolutely stunning. We've got the boats on the water with the mist. The sun is a little harsh right now, but we've got some diffusion with the kind of clouds and the mist going on. So I think we can make something out of this. So I was standing up and getting some shots earlier. Nice thing about the 28-105 is that you've got a huge range. So I was getting in and getting a little bit closer to the ships out there, but I also want to get like a nice wide landscape shot. And I think it would look best if there was a little bit of this kind of foreground in it. So I'm trying to get low down. The other option is to back up a little bit because 28 just isn't quite proving to be wide enough. I'm going to shoot at a really narrow aperture, something like f/16. And I've got CPL on the front so I can kind of dial in the water how I want it and the sky. So this is f/16, 1/200th of a second. I'm going to go up to ISO 800 so I can get a nice quick shutter speed because I'm just hand holding here. It's hard to see, it's so bright out here right now. That looks okay. The problem is that down here, I've got, unfortunately, just brown. And I would love, if I get up a little bit, there's green in there. And I'd love to get that instead. So let's shift a little bit and see if I can make that. That's a little better. Let's try that. And if I go vertical, I could actually get a little bit more of that foreground in there. Beautiful. Oh, and now we have a ship coming in. Just hoping to get this ship on my rule of thirds line. I think that'll look really good. Here's a bug'em. Oh. And then because I've got the reach of the 28-105, I'll get some kind of detail shots. Those hills in the distance in the mist are just absolutely stunning. Okay, I got one more idea for a shot, but it's going to require me to take my tripod back so that I can get in the shot. Okay, so I'm going to set it up so that touch function is tracking. Dial in a bracket, apply. Maybe one where I'm facing the camera. Okay. Hopefully something in there looks good. I think we got something there. All right. Well, I think we've used up everything that we can get out of this spot, so let's go see what the next viewpoint looks like. Okay, so we've reached the second viewpoint, and it's pretty much just a different vantage point of the same stuff, which happens a lot on hikes like this. You can see the boats. We got the mountains in the background, the mist. We got a little lighthouse or something down there as well, which is kind of cool. The sun is definitely starting to go down, which I feel like that first viewpoint is really gonna burn once sunset hits. Nothing is really jumping out at me in terms of compositions. Might get a couple of shots just with these trees in the foreground, just because I like the layers, but I don't know if they'll necessarily like stand up to that first view that we had where it was like the nice wide open look at that same thing. I'll give it a try though. Lots of space on the card. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. That was actually quite a beautiful shot. The sun is doing something real special on the island across the way here. I'm just basically snapping a couple of different compositions, a couple of different framing ideas to see what will work best once I get it blown up onto a bigger screen. That's when I can really tell what I'm gonna like. And I also make sure that I get a couple that are wider than I think I'll need them, so that I have the option to crop into smaller frames or ratios as well. Man, it's gorgeous out here. Okay, let's keep moving on to the third one. I think there's one more. This might have been it. I may have read my all trails wrong. We have reached the third viewpoint. It's pretty, but it's not different enough from the last one to be too exciting. I did take a couple of shots just in case they turn out better than the previous ones, but it's a lot more of the same, to be completely honest. So I'm thinking, since the light is getting really cool, I might start heading back to that first viewpoint and see if I can catch sunset, because it looks like we're gonna get something special for that. Yeah, let's head back that way. One thing that I'm doing here is actually getting right down to the ground, kind of dirtying up the foreground a little bit, and it adds to the layers that we get. So if I stand up here, you can see that's kind of the waist height shot. But if I get back down to the ground, you get the kind of added depth of that foreground right up against the camera. And if I do it maybe with the green in the foreground, like so, that's kind of cool. Okay, now let's go back to the other spot. Oh geez. So we made it back. I went so fast. I was so hot. Holy bananas. Gotta cool off. Oh. Okay, so we're back at spot number one. We got a nice soft glow going on. I don't know if it's quite gonna be the sunset I thought it was. And I'm a little worried about having to get all the way back to the car in complete darkness. So I'll give it a couple of minutes, see if anything special happens, and then be on my way after I cool down. Oh yeah, there's the workout for the day. Well, it's starting to get cold. I've been here about 20 minutes and nothing is really changing too much. I got a few self-portraits and a couple of shots of the hills in the distance, just kind of sunset-y shots, nothing too crazy. And I've got literally 1% battery on my last battery. So I think all those things put together is a sign that it's time to go back to the car and call her a day. So thanks so much for coming along with me on this little photo adventure. I hope you enjoyed it.